And as we come to the close of today, and tomorrow is when the vet comes and the farrier comes, and who knows, guys? I mean, thanks for listening, and I'll keep posting these. But who knows? I mean, maybe I blew the whole thing totally out of proportion, right? And people do this all the time, and it's no big deal, and, it just is what it is. I just really feel like this experience and this journey, on this journey that is today is coming to a close. I would love for her and Dietz to have their feet done tomorrow. I would love for the process of sedation to go really easy. And obviously in the future, I would have spent way more time prepping them, but they're doing amazing. And I feel like a level of trust has been gained. And I literally asked both Siri and Dietz. I showed them how tomorrow's going to go, where the farrier's going to be, what's going to need to be done, that they're going to feel a little sleepy, and that I asked for them not to kick. I asked them to please trust me in this situation. I am literally asking for them to override their instinct, which is going to be, if somebody's going to pick up their leg, to kick. And I've gotten them, hopefully used to touch enough that with the little bit of sedation, it should help them get their feet trimmed. But what really came of this is that I look at my two horses, and I can definitely say at a soul level, those two wild souls are intact. That through this process, Siri and I have learned to trust each other. That I didn't have to use any force with her at all. That there is definitely a two-way level of communication back and forth between us. And it's building a foundation for us to always be able to hear each other, for us to always be able to work together safely and calmly. And at the beginning, I was like, well, this is just about being able to get the horse haltered, to get her feet done, or Dietz's. And I'm so blown away. I think this is the 30th chapter, which means that there's like 300 minutes, right? Recorded. So it's like over 5 hours. And I spent more time with her than that, but I wasn't always recording. But I hope that as you've been listening to this and, letting it relate to like you and your own horses, or giving you a deeper maybe understanding or perspective from the horse, not as an anthropomorphization, but an actual hearing of my horses. I hope this gives you impetus, to expand that with your own horses. And if you're doing this already, like, congratulations, that is amazing. And if it's something that you want to learn, it's teachable. It's actually teachable because it's rememberable. Like, we know how to do this. It's what we're born with. It's who we are as beings. We are telepathic. The animals are telepathic. All of nature is telepathic. We were born. We were created by the Creator to be born in connection and communion with each other. And sadly, our modern, 150, 200 years, 400 years systems, maybe a little bit longer, because witches were burned, and like lots of women were put to death because they knew and they remembered the magic of who we actually are as women, and men too. I'm not putting down men. I'm including men in this. We are magic. we are capable of communicating with the animal kingdom and with all of nature and with ourselves at a soul essence level. All of our education has just been training us that we're not. So as I, close out this day, watching the sunset and the beautiful cloud formations in the sky, and watching Siri and Dietz eat with their kids, and they have their halters on because I don't want to have to catch them tomorrow in the morning. I don't want them to be stressed out. My original intention of just sharing from the horse's perspective through this process is just feels like it's blossomed into so much more. It's making me understand that the PhD that I conducted with formerly wild horses and checking body misalignment at distances of, over 2,000 miles away, and moving into this next aspect of my career, not just as an animal communicator and a distance energy alignment expert for horses, but in dogs and cats and people. I've actually become an energy medicine researcher. I've actually become a studier, a researcher of consciousness with animals, and I use animal communication as my medium. And so I never really thought that this thing with Siri would become like a case study, of sorts, or that it would really deepen my work or what I was able to share. But this entire sharing has been my scientific research on the consciousness of what animals do feel, what they're aware of, what my horse wanted me to share with humanity about how horses feel through this process of quote-unquote training or gentling, or doing this with Siri at such, probably for most people that are really skilled with it, right? I'm probably doing this at a snail's pace. Well, it's something I'm so deeply grateful for, because had I just tried to put a halter on her to be able to trim her feet, I wouldn't have had all of these insights and awarenesses and awakenings and rememberings to share. And I remember when I did the recordings about putting her halter on and how deflated I felt, because it was like I thought this was going to be this great accomplishment, and it was like so heartbreaking for me seeing her release her wild. This is actually so much of a greater experience and feeling of accomplishment that I didn't even know I was going for, that I could share the perspective of at least one horse, at least one wild mare going through this process to help not only inform me of such a deeper level of understanding, but to inform other horse people, and to recognize that, if there's anything going on in this process, we've either got a body misalignment issue, we've either pushing things too much and we're not listening to the horse, or we've got to look at what's going on our end of the reins. And to go through this process that could have been potentially explosive, but that was really actually extraordinarily peaceful and very humbling and honest. I just hope and pray more people listen to this and understand that it never, ever has to be hard or harsh for the human or for the horse. And if it is, then you need to just step back and see, what are you not listening to? Is the horse telling you they're uncomfortable? Is your energy too intense for them? But if we really truly listen to the horse, extraordinary friendships can really be made.